Yeah, you know, I've not slept at the paper club. Me, I can't afford today. But I've visited somebody there, and maybe it's the room that he was staying in. But the room there where we went, there were no carpets. I'm told you are saying the reason why you have been moved was because the room had carpets. The one that I saw there had no carpets. I'm not saying the story is not right, but we might need to, in our letter, and I'll just note it to NSFAS, to give us the booking details. With the booking details, we'll write to the paper club ourselves for them to give us confirmation of this information because, like I said, I've been there and I've not seen carpets. But if they are there, maybe that room had carpets, and I hope that is the case. In your response, I'm going to give you Honorable Lunz. In your response to why you prioritized allowances instead of paying universities, you said you are managing a crisis from happening. The reality is there are universities who have communicated to NSFAS, indicated that they are unable to reach their financial obligations if they will not be paid at least by latest today, it's after 1, it's after 12, because they must pay salaries by Friday. They earn on the 15th. Now the 15th falls on a Saturday. So it means they must pay salaries on Friday. And they're unable to pay salaries on Friday. So it means what you are saying you want to prevent from a student perspective, it's going to happen. But it will happen from workers of these institutions. So either way, there is a crisis. What is does DHEAD have your tranche or tranches? Where is this money? Because when we voted for funds now, I can't remember, was it 50, 51 billion? It could not have been finished in this financial year. That would have started on the 1st of April. So where is this money, and how can we make sure that when we leave here, we don't leave this meeting thinking everything is fine, and on Monday we wake up to strikes in 10 universities that are paying their employees on the 15th, or that were supposed to pay their employees on the 15th, and they will not have been paid because NSFAS has not paid what they're supposed to have paid to yourself. I've seen a number of letters. I've seen, you made an example about WUS. You have seen their letter to yourself. I've seen the letter of UNISA to yourself. It's a lot of money that we owe, hundreds of millions of money to these institutions. And you are saying you only have about 4 billion or so in your account, which is a scary part. It means you might be postponing a pain that we are ultimately going to get. If we don't get it this Friday, we might get it next week Friday, or we might get it month end. But reality is that this pain is inevitable. Now, I want to understand where is the problem? Where can this, is Tandy withholding the funds that are supposed to come to, I'm making an example, Tandy, to NSFAS from the department? Where is the problem? What is the issue here, Prof?
So even if you were to disperse the 50 billion that was voted for, you would still have a shortfall. So the situation will still remain, Chair. So I'm pretty aware that there are universities like WUSU and I have attempted to make sure that at least I pay them about 64 million, which was on hold. Limpopo, even though Limpopo we didn't owe them, we couldn't pay all of it, but their appeal was just pay us something. And I had, thought that 30 million would be able to assist. But that is not the sum total. There are universities which their amounts are so big. So UNISA, we talk about 405 million. Stellenbosch, I think we owe them close to about 700 million. So you could go into all these institutions, but the reality of the situation is there is a policy that is prevailing. The entity doesn't have the money. The conversations that the department is leading with Treasury will have to come to the party in this regard. So really deep conversations has to be engaged in to determine what needs to be done. It is really not in the hands of NSFAS. We can only deal with what we have. As I say, I have 4.5 billion that is to disburse at the end of this month, while waiting for the tranche, for the next tranche. I can't even say, well, just bring forward the tranche to pay, because even if they did, I would still be in the red with, it won't be 15 billion, essentially. It won't be able to cover that 15 billion. So this gap will continue to grow as we go, and hence my presentation was to say we will need to find an assistance somehow to ensure that 2026 academic year does not impact on 2027. So if we don't get the money, 2027 will be impacted because we won't have the money to be able to fund 2027.
Yeah, my question was not policy related. I'm asking now. So you're saying you've got 4.5 billion. And this is on the money that was on the 26-27 financial year. You are saying for 2026-27 financial year ends on the 31st of March 2027. The academic year 2026 ends in October 2026. I'm asking a specific question. I don't know whether it was Honorable Khabo. You see this thing of wanting to lecture us and not answering what, when we ask a question, we know what we're asking. We make sense, we know we make sense to what we're asking. But because we've got this issue of wanting to lecture us and then end up not answering the question. I'm repeating my questions, and I hope Prof will hear the question. This year, at the beginning of the year, we paid upfront 6 point something billion. Was it 6.3? How much was it to universities? Was it 6.3 or something? We paid. This was not the money of 2026-2027 financial year. I hope you understand that part. But it was the money of the 2025-2026 financial year. Because the financial year 2025-2026 will not have ended. It ended in March. Now, this year, 2026, this financial year, we've just voted for the budget. We're told it's 50 billion for the 2026-2027 financial year. Out of that 50 billion, Thandi, how much have we sent to NSFAS?
Chair, there's a tranche schedule. So of that 50 billion, that is the budget for this financial year. an amount of 10.1 billion was paid over to NSFAS in April, 9.5 in June, and 10.8 in August. The next payment is due on the 1st of October. Chair, if I could just come in here. It is a serious situation. I think the minister talked about it this morning quite clearly, that we do have a gap between the demand.
No, we understand the issue of it.
No, I know you do, but
No, the minister spoke about it, so I don't understand what you want to, we understood it there.
so
the
what
issue
I
of the
would like to
police-
do is to tell you what we're doing about it,
No,
if
the-
possible.
No, the
'Cause
minister
then-
spoke about it, the
Okay.
issue of a policy that you are trying to
I'm-
deal with.
I'm talking about
from,
both the policy issue.
Dandy, please,
Okay.
please. So at the end of this month, you are saying there's nothing, because I can tell you we're going to have strikes by workers on Monday who will not be paid. You are saying to me, from a money point of view, there is nothing that the department can do except the tranche payment that is expected in October.
Chair, if you would allow me, that I'm not saying there's nothing the department can do. It's in a matter of extreme urgency that we must ensure that universities receive some of their tuition fee payments. So one of the things that are under consideration is whether or not, and this is information that we are in discussion with NSFAS about, is whether or not, given the situation, we do need to go to National Treasury and request an earlier drawdown on some of the later tranches, which is something that we could feasibly do. That is something that we're in discussion about. It's highly unprecedented, but it's something that we could do. In terms of the budget, we have to go back to cabinet, and that is a process that we are also involved with at the moment, working with National Treasury and the DPME.
So you guys did not know that there might be this crisis on Friday this week, because you guys are still in conversations. So it came as a
We
surprise.
did know that it was a crisis, and we had a discussion on Friday, and
Last
I
week.
got the information about the money in the NSFAS bank account on Friday.
Last week.
Yes.
So NSFAS only notified you last week Friday.
The detail of the amounts
you
of
knew
funding
before
was only
Friday last
available
week.
to me on Friday.
So
Yeah.
the department knew before Friday last week that there is a crisis, but you just did not know the extent of it.
That's partly true, yes, yeah.
What is not
But-
true there?
Well, did not know what the situation of the NSFAS bank account was, no.
But that's what I've said.
Yeah.
So what is not true there? You said it's partly true. What is partly not true?
That the universities have been raising for some time concerns about the lack of payment on
No, I've
tuition
never
fees.
said so. I've never said about university raising.
So all I'm trying to be honest with you, Chair, to say is that I have been aware for a short while that the
Yes.
universities are concerned about the lack of payment
Yes,
on
I've
tuition
never raised
fees.
that. I've not raised that yet.
Okay.
So what is
I'm just
partly
trying to
not
be
true?
totally
No,
honest with you.
No, what is not true? You said what I've said is partly true. So it means it's partly untrue. I'm asking what is not true about what I've said.
So I'm trying to say that I'm aware that there's a problem before Friday. It's only on Friday that I knew the situation of the bank account.
Yeah, you see, this is a problem I have. So between NSFAS and the department, you knew all along that you have not paid university tuition fees for 4 months. You knew. So it was not a secret that the last payment to universities was in April or something like that, end of April, I'm not too sure. You knew. If it's not the department, NSFAS would know. Between the two of you, you knew. Now, only when universities raised an issue about not being able to breathe, them being under pressure. It is only then that you guys now wants to create, you know, when you go to court, I did speak about 612, the rule 612 in the courts, high courts, but it's the one of agents. When you, in a case like this, if I was opposing you, I was going to say, your case is self-created agency. You are creating, National Treasury will highly likely tell you the same day, that you can't act surprised as if you had no access to your bank accounts. You knew that you are not paying. You kept this thing to yourself. I can tell you now, if National Treasury accede there, I'm going to do a bribe. Because this thing is self-created. And it's this kind of incompetence that causes problems. We're likely going to have a big problem where people can't pay their debit orders on Monday. It's reality. And somebody here would be told, we've given somebody a verbal, because it can't be proven, a verbal warning. We can't see it. No, there's just a culture that we're creating of impunity. We're doing just as we please. We don't care for consequences. This one actually, heads should be rolling, because this thing has got a serious potential of causing serious instability in the system. Some of the workers of these universities might not be able to pay for transport for their children to go to school. We don't practicalize our actions. Malume driving bana Monday might refuse to take a child of somebody who works at the university because they're not paid. Now we're too relaxed, we're chilled. We're chilled. Sit with information. We knew, because projections should be able to, I'm not an accountant. I can't even claim I know accounting, but I can budget. I know how to budget. I know that this next 2 weeks I must fly to Cape Town. I must have petrol to drive from home to. I don't want to go to last minute. I'm supposed to go to the airport, and then I'm saying, I don't have money for transport or for Uber there. That's poor planning on my part. And this is how you guys are handling state resources at the expense of millions of our people. These universities, Dr. Christians, might not be able to pay for electricity. There's a mayor there in China, she's trigger happy. If you don't pay for 2 days, she switches. The whole university, TUT, Prof. Mateb, might not even have electricity tomorrow or Monday. And we're relaxed. This thing, and I was deliberate that I've had the minister in the morning on the policy challenges that we have, and we have agreed with him. So don't take us to the policy problem. We want to deal with the problem in front of us. Are we able to make sure that universities that pay, that are expected to pay on Friday, tomorrow, will be able to meet their financial? And seated here between NSFAS and the department, you have just confirmed to us that there's no plan. So those universities, if they are listening, they must just go and get overdrafts to avoid a big strike from employees. And somebody must be held accountable, because you can't, it's not possible.